welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen and in today's video I am going to do a review of my first year of interior architecture. If you're new to my channel, I make content about architecture, I give advice, I show my presentations. So if you're interested in it, please subscribe and also like this video. Let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so I made like a little presentation for you guys. I imported it in GoodNote. To insert here my projects and I will talk you through it. Okay, so in my first year, the first like design studio that we had to think of an interior of our memories that I chose was the lawn of my grandma. It has like lots of different textures and colors. Like it's a bit chaotic, but it felt safe there and I really liked her lawn a lot. That's why I chose that space. And as you can see, I made a collage with watercolors. One is only with like watercolors, it's this one. Next to it I did like a mixed media one. So for example, this one was with watercolors, also this, and those were just like pictures. Sorry if I'm not writing so well. So yeah, these were all pictures and I did like a mixed media thing. And here it's only pictures, but I also added some fabric. So once I had like a mood board of what interior looked like, I started to design. From this interior we had to make one object that reminded us of the interior. I was like sketching, as you can see. I was going for a vase, or her table also was something interesting. Eventually I did went for a vase because her cupboard was full of vases. As you can see, this is how the vase ended up. Proud of it. I'm really happy how it turned out. You have like all the different textures from her salon. It definitely reminds me of it. I also wanted to show you like the process of building it. Started off what is called Isamo, and then with like a chicken wire assembled it to the shape. In newspapers I started to stick everything onto the vase. There is an example as well, and after that I just pinned the textures into it and also glued it a bit. That's how the textures stayed on my vase. And once I had that object, we had to make a performance art. If you don't know what a performance art is, like insert the meaning of it here. It's like an expression of art. Performance art, we made different compositions with each two students who had their own objects created. And then we created like different compositions to see what it looked like in one space. It was very interesting. I think it lasted like 5 minutes, our performance art. And that was basically it for like the first design that I had. A design studio lasts like 5 weeks, which isn't a lot. I feel like personally, in my opinion, I think it would be better if we had like half a year for one subject so that we really get the best of it, because sometimes I feel like my projects aren't finished and I feel like the other students have this feeling as well. I need like a couple more weeks. Like 5 weeks isn't enough to design something. Especially for like a presentation, I feel like you need an extra week just for the presentation. But that's just like my opinion. Then we go into the next design studio that I had, and it was called Transformation. So we had to transform a garden shed, garden house. We had to transform that. So on the left you see the model that I made. First we had to recreate it so that we really got to know garden house. On the left you see my model, on the right you see the original one, so it's a picture. Then we also had to draw plans of it. You can see it was the first time that we had to draw plans, so it wasn't like very complicated. I feel like in my first year they really wanted us to learn everything, how to draw plans, how to make models, so they weren't as harsh. For like the transformation, I didn't even say like the subject. I actually had to transform, like make a transformation of garden house, and I had to do that by experimenting. Like I made a lot of models. Now I'm showing you only 6 variations, but I made like 20 models of it. That is also something that you will be expecting. Like they expect you to make every week a lot of drawings, a lot of models. Don't be lazy, try different things out Eventually it is for the better. It's always better to design more than less. The more ideas you get and the more you can show, the more feedback you can get of it. These are only like 6 models that I make, just so you can have an example. And I went for a transformation where I mirrored garden house and I also extruded it. And then I wanted to do something with lighting, so I experimented with different holes. Here are 2 examples, and this is what I eventually ended up with. I was really happy how the interior aspects turned out. I felt like the lighting looked like kind of holy, like it was a nice effect. It was like you're walking in this dark tunnel and suddenly you have this like light come in. Really happy how it turned out. And then also I have a picture of what my presentation looked like. As you can see on my channel, I made already a few vlogs, like 3 vlogs of my presentation days. I love making these so I can show you guys what it looked like. In the future I definitely will be making more presentation vlogs, but right now it's summer so I don't have school. The next design studio that I want to talk about, this is like one of my favorites. So for this design studio we had to create a multifunctional furniture. This was super fun. So I started out with just making a collage so I could like have some inspiration. I actually don't want to reveal yet what the furniture looked like, so I will just show you first of all the location where the furniture is located so that you have a better understanding of the project. So we had to design a multifunctional furniture at school. I chose this location, it's at the terrace of the school. And the roof was really interesting for me. I wanted to do something with that texture, and also like the way the light was falling into it was really interesting. That's why I chose this location. I just started off by making sketches, different sketches. So as you can see, I'm going to show you like a few things, but like every week I made like 3 or 4 models. I did a lot of sketching. Also tried on different materials to experiment. Also made like the terrace, like a model of it, so it would be easier for me to place the furniture into the location. I also recommend you to do that if you're maybe making a furniture for a location, or your building that you're designing has a specific location. Definitely make that location. It doesn't have to be very detailed, but it definitely adds something more to your model. Otherwise it's just like a building standing nowhere. Eventually this is what my furniture looked like. So you could sit on it, you can stand on it, you could lay down on it. That was like the whole purpose. And I wanted to extend the pattern of the roof into my model, the same rhythm into my furniture, and that's what I really liked about it. For the material I wasn't quite sure, just because I do think that it wouldn't be very comfortable. Okay, so I took a quick break. So where was I? If you put like cushions on top of it, it's more comfortable to sit at. But like it's an outside furniture, so that's why I chose those materials. And here are some sketches that I used at my presentation. So I have an isometric viewpoint and also drawings. And this is what my presentation looked like, if you wondered. I did it outside at the place where my furniture was supposed to be. It was like kind of for my design studio, but it was together with a theoretical class where we learn about materials. And we had to make the furniture in real life. But it was like way too big, and it was probably like way too expensive to make the whole thing. And like, where was I going to put it? So I made a piece of it, like a smaller version, and I'm super happy how it turned out. Like you can see like the structures and like the patterns, and also with like the sunlight falling in. It was very interesting. I also want to show you like the process of how we did it. So I did this together with the help of my dad, because it's very handy and I'm not that handy. So yeah, he definitely helped me out with this, and I was super happy with the end result. And then for my last project for my design studio, we had to make a painting, like a big painting. I talked about this in my first video. I know I was a bit shy in that. We had to like tape all these A3 papers together, and I think the painting was like 2 meters on 2 meters, like it was gigantic. And I painted this in like 4 weeks or 5 weeks or something like that, like a painting from Monet. We had to paint like an interior from our memories, and we could like base it on real painting. So that's what I did. And like my dream was that I was at the beach, because at the time it was COVID and I was really craving to just go outside, to just be at the beach. That's why I chose that. So that was everything for the design studio part. So then the next part is my media class. So in my first year I learned like how to draw things, like it was really about drawing things the way you see it. For example, here I was just at the park and drew these 4 paintings of what I saw, and I used like different materials. The first one was just with a pencil, then this one was like with pastel oils, then I did one with a fine liner, and this was with a thicker fine liner. We also had like a workshop, like from the garden house that I talked about. I did like a painting of it, a perspective view. Then we also have another class, and it's an expression class. It's where you be creative, you can do anything there, you really need to think out of the box. And we had to make a color palette. I made a color palette of 20 shades of green. Like we all had to make a color palette of 20 shades, and I chose green, and I made this with leaves. And eventually this was like the composition that it turned out. I painted those leaves, and I also wanted to see what would happen if I would layer like a few colors and the different textures on top of each other. And this is what the end result was. I also did some other experiments. It's really about experimenting and being just creative. And then this is what my presentation looked like. So I also made like a video of 5 minutes. And then in another media class, it was really about how to learn how to draw on AutoCAD. So this was the first time that we learned how to draw on it. We made like a section and also some plans, and there were also like other drawings, but I'm just showing you a few of them. This was also from an expression class, and here we had to do like, it's called mapping. So we just chose like a spot, and then we had to document that place. And you can go like different ways with it. It was like a group project. We just like documented the place with a wire, and then we made a movie out of it. It was like 5 minutes. We documented our way into the park with the red wire, and we like put it in black and white, so you really could see the contrast between the way into the park. That was actually the last project. Those like media and expression classes were divided in 2, so I had from each like 1 class in 1 semester. So that was everything for this video. I reviewed my whole year. I hope this was interesting for you, that you got like a better idea of what you will be expecting your first year. It really depends on the school that you're going to, the country, like every country is different. So this was what I did in Brussels. So like let me know if you want me to review my second year. I already did like a little presentation, so I can do this for you guys as well. Also comment down below what you would like to see next. Don't forget to like this video, and thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye!